If you're in abroad and you ever think of these words, like for example, oh, I'm tired with abroad. Oh, I'm going back home. Oh, life back home is much better when you're staying with your people. Oh, back home is very sweet. Once you're back home, life will be easy. You will be living like a king or like a queen, and people will be treating you like a king or like a queen. Then this video is for you. Because going back home is not always the happy ending that people show on social media. Because what they didn't tell you on social media is that so many people who have moved back home in Africa precisely, some of them really regret it deeply. So today, I'm going to tell you why so many diasporans pack their bags, go back home with the hope that they're going to retire there and then later return back to abroad with a lot of pain. So just imagine you've been living in abroad. Some of us have been here for over 10 years, 20 years, up to 40 years. And you've been working very hard, paying your bills and sending money back home to your family. And sometimes you can go for holidays. The longest you can stay, maybe 4 weeks, between 4 weeks to 6 weeks. And your family will welcome you. You living like a king. Everybody is surrounding you, pleasing you. It's like you are a king or queen. That is how family treats you. And some of us, like your first time when you came from Africa to abroad, it takes you a while because you have to sort out your paperwork first. Some of us, it will take 5 years. Some of us, it will take us 10 years before you get your paperwork to give you the leverage to travel back home. And immediately you go back home because you've already used to the system here where there is work, work, work. You earn money, wake up in the morning, go to work, earn money, pay your bills. It's like the same routine all the time. So immediately you got that opportunity for your first visit to Africa. When you go there at your first time, that is when we will appreciate how Africa is blessed. That is when you will see the calmness, because Africa is not like a roller coaster like the way you are living in abroad, because abroad is everything is fast paced. You're just moving, everybody is just moving fast in abroad. But when you go to Africa, your first time you visit Africa, then you started appreciating what you have left behind. You started seeing the calmness, you started seeing the peacefulness, you started seeing the loving that your people are giving you. And not just your people, also even strangers, neighbors, everybody welcoming you so warmly. And that was what you have missed. And now you started having that thought that when I go to abroad, I'm going to get ready to come home because abroad is so tiring. And you start telling your family, oh, I'm so tired in abroad. Abroad is like a roller coaster. It's just work, work, work. I'm tired. I'm fed up. And guess what? Your family will be the one now to push you. Oh, you need to come back. Oh, brother or sister or auntie or mom, they will be the one now to push you to retire home because they've already know you are spending the money with them. So they will be the one to push you now to come back home. They will be telling you life is easy here. You won't suffer here. We are around. We will support you. You are just wasting your time in abroad. So come back here. Let's establish something so we can all make it together. So your family will be the one now to push you to come here, telling you all the loving story for you to return back. Immediately you come to abroad. So what would be in your mind now? Maybe you've already acquired a house, you've already acquired a car, you have some assets that you've already generated here in abroad. So your next option now is to sell all those assets that you've already acquired. And then you will pack your bag and say, finally, I'm returning back home. Just when you go there, you realize that you don't have a house, you have to start from scratch. Yes, you go there with money, you started building your house maybe, And then when you started making that your project, that is if you're building a house, this is just an example, if you're building a house. So you will be building that house, and then maybe where you are living, don't forget, this is where reality will now start kicking in. You have to pay your house rent where you're living. You have to pay electricity bills. And sometimes we all know how Africa is with electricity. If you see electricity for the day, maybe you're lucky. Sometimes you have to live in blackout when there is no light, unless if you purchase a generator to give you electricity. Then you have to look at the issue of water, because sometimes you have to purchase water. It's not every area that has water supplies. Sometimes you have to buy your own water. And then you start looking at security as well. You need to secure yourself. And now the last one is family members will start coming to you. When they come to you, they don't see you as you came from abroad to retired, that you need a peaceful life. They don't see you like that. All they see is an ATM machine. Those family members will now start coming in. Imagine they were the one that were pushing you to come to Africa to retired, but they are the same one that will come to you, started taking money from you. Either they will say money for hospital bills, or money for school fees, or money for bills, money for this, money for that. And then you started spreading money. So you're not just focusing on yourself, you're also sponsoring your family with the same money that you brought with you. And now that money that you brought with you, no business, you're not doing anything, you're not generating any income to generate money back to increase. That's your money that you come with from abroad. Remember, you sold all your assets, and now you are using that money to sponsor your life whilst you are there. And that money is just going, but there's nothing else you're doing to generate more income to come your way. And this money will start going down gradually. And with all the electricity issues, the water issues you're having, or addition to that, the healthcare issue, and then you started feeling all those issues, and there is no money for you to generate additional income coming your way. That is when you started regretting. Why did I come here in the first place? Now you're seeing the money is going gradually, or maybe you're thinking of making a business. But what business will you do at that time when you haven't studied how business operates in Africa? That is when you started having second thoughts. Oh, did I make the wrong choice for returning back home? Or should I go back to abroad? And sometimes pride will make you stay in Africa. He said, because you've already told everybody that you're going to retire back home, that back home is sweet, back home life is easy. You've already told all your friends and family. Maybe you even left your job, or you resigned from your job. And then how would you go back and start all over again? So because of that, pride will make you stay in Africa and then bear the pain, the consequences with a lot of regret. Or maybe you can return back to abroad because of all this suffering. And when you come back, you don't have a house, you don't have a car. Absolutely, you have to start all over again. Yes, you have the paper, you have your documentation. That one, you don't need to fight for that anymore. But you have to start from afresh, looking for a job. If you're lucky, maybe your employer will take you back. If you're not lucky, then you have to look for another job. And remember, you have to pay for your house rent. And the way the house rents are now going skyrocket high, that is where people come back to abroad with a lot of pains, a lot of regrets. Some will stay, but some will come back to abroad. And when you come back to abroad with all these regrets, that will make you think very negativity about Africa, that you don't even want to hear the voice that going back home. No, you will start having all those negativity thoughts about Africa. Africa is hard. I can't go back to Africa. It's very difficult to live there. So your mind will never go back there. You've already had the mindset that you will never return back home because of your first experience was not great at all. And on the other hand, if you decide to stay in Africa because of pride, and when your relatives are still pressuring you for money, like I said, they will see you as an ATM machine. They will think that money grows up the trees and fall down on the ground, that you just pick the money on the floor that drop from the trees to give to them. And then as soon as you stop giving them money because you don't have it anymore, as soon as you stop giving them money, that is when they will see you as a greedy person, as a stingy person, as a selfish person. They will find all the names to give to you, that you've become very changed, that you have changed on them, that you've become very stingy. And then all of a sudden, all of them will just disappear away from you, leaving you on your own to fight your own battle. So what are the lessons learned here? Going for holidays back home is not the same as you're going there to live for the rest of your life, especially if you have been in abroad for a long period of time. You've already used to the system in abroad. And then when you go to Africa, you find out that the system there is different. The way you left Africa before is not the same anymore. And lesson number 2 that we learned from this is family love sometimes can turn into a burden. When family come to you, despite they know you are struggling, you're no longer in abroad, you're no longer working that 9 to 5 job that is bringing income to you, you're not doing business in Africa, all they see in you is an ATM machine where they can take money. And when you stop giving them that money, that is when they will change on you. That support you used to give them before, if it's no longer there, they will all change on you. They will all disappear and they will start calling you names. So this message is not to scare you off to go or to move to Africa or to go and retire to Africa. I'm not scaring you off. It's just that before you think of moving to Africa, you need to plan yourself. At least give yourself a maximum 10 years planning to return back to Africa. And within that 10 years, make sure you've been visiting Africa, maybe go there for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks and come back to abroad. So you'll be going maybe every 6 months or maybe go once a year and just see how the system works in Africa and start establishing the business, looking at what can I do here? What can I actually do in Africa? Maybe the area where you're living, because you need to plan. First of all, you need to have a house there because you don't want to leave. You don't want to move to Africa and start paying rent. Try and acquire a land and start building your house. And then start looking at that area where you are building your house. What sort of business can you be doing there? So those are the things you start doing the investigation. What can I be doing in this area? And secondly, don't you ever think of going to Africa to work for the government or going there to look for a job. That's the worst mistake you will ever think of yourself, to say, oh, if I go to Africa, all the skills I've already acquired here in abroad, I'll go and then implement all these skills. I'll go and find a job and start working. For where? The people that are already living in Africa, even themselves, they finish their school, they finish their universities, there is no job for them. Do you think that they will give you that job? When graduates are parading around, they're looking for job, there is no job there. So the job they have in Africa is for people who are living in Africa, not for you that is coming from diaspora. They won't even consider you. If you say you're going to work for the government, they are expecting you to do a voluntary work. They won't pay you. They will think you come and work for free because they know you come from abroad, because money is not a problem for you. So they will be expecting you to do voluntary work without receiving any payment. So just forget about working in Africa because they won't pay you. They will take you as a volunteer because you have money. Money is not a problem for you. So just avoid that to say, I'm going there, I'm going to offer my skills, and then I'll get a big money, they will pay me heavily. Hell no, you won't get it. So find a business plan. What will be in your area? What sort of business will you do in your area? So those are the things you need to focus on. As soon as you've identified the type of business would be suitable in the environment where you're building your house, that when you come back to abroad, that's the goals now you need to set. That's the goals you need to start working towards. Gradually, gradually, you are getting there. When you've already established your business, you've already built your house, you know you are financially stable, that business you've already acquired in Africa, that is your main source of income. Then that is when you can now say, finally, I'm moving back home. I'm going to retire back home, because you know your heart is at peace. You have a house and you have a business that is generating income for you. But don't you ever make that mistake to say, I'm going to work for the government. You won't go anywhere. They won't give you that job. They won't even pay you. They will take you as a volunteer. Sometimes the regret is not about you going to abroad or to Africa to retire. It's because you went there unprepared. You didn't prepare yourself very well before you went back home. So now let me ask you a question. Have you ever moved back home, or you returned back home to Africa, and then all of a sudden you regret it greatly? Or are you currently planning to return back home? If you are, please share your thoughts or share your story on the comment section below. And please don't forget to like this video and share it to someone who really needs to hear this message. And please turn on the notification so that you won't miss out any of my next upload. So I will see you on the next video. Take care now. Bye.